This is Caribbean Vibes. This is Caribbean
A child of joy, a man who fought, and for sins the Savior fought and win. See him healing the sick, helping the poor, and things like leprosy, you know our Savior cure. Our Savior is born today. It's running close to light while the shepherds cry. For the just couldn't believe their eyes. And when he come, oh man, you know them non-Christians get together and put nails in their hands. But on the third day, he rose again. So you see, he shed his blood for we. Was conceived, so said and done, all three in one, a truly blessed son. He displayed his own skill and Father's will, so when we are at fault, we know that he loves us still. Ring, ring, hurrah, 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 they say, our Savior is born today. He's running close to light, while the shepherds cry, for they just couldn't believe the eyes. And when he come, oh man, you know them non-Christians get together and found nails in his hands. But on the third day, he rose again. So you see, he shed his blood for we.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
The good book says the time is now. The signs are here. All should kneel and pray. Let's take him at his word. The
This is Caribbean Vibes.
All right. Enough of that. I know it's Christmas time, but enough of that. Of course, we have to settle to, of course, the serious business. My apology for being behind the screens tonight, but of course, we have not completed, of course, that issue that prevented us, of course, from having a Friday night and, of course, program. And I didn't want to take any chances tonight because it's weekend. And you know, most people would say that Trinidad and Tobago locks off by at least after working hours on Friday. So therefore, I didn't want to take the chance with respect to the internet and all of those things that we have to check. But that being as it may, the reality is, of course, that we are here behind the scenes, and of course, we'll continue to take your calls as well as per usual. Don't forget, of course, the number to call 337-6940. That is still there. Of course, I'm looking, of course, at the same time at the monitor behind the scenes, so it gives me some time to well, if I was in front of the camera, you would have felt that I was having some kind of distractive episode. So I'm glad in a sense that, of course, I have to be behind the scenes so we can monitor what is happening on the screen and therefore on the live, so to speak. But that being as it may, well, of course, you would see there that during the course, after the Monday night forum last Monday, Andy, Mike, and myself, we had, of course, a photo up with, of course, the political leader of the UNC, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, when, of course, they presented that scintillating and very informative, should I say, meeting or I would consider it to be more a symposium on the whole question of, because there are a number of persons who I rightly consider to be experts in the area because of their own experiences, in the field and maybe academically as well. So I want to say that it was a very what I consider to be rewarding experience. And that those of you who weren't there, well, you missed a treat. That being as it may, we have, of course, a duty and responsibility to continue with, of course, the prophylactic approach. And I make no bones and therefore emphasize the prophylactic approach, meaning that you prevent crime and criminality. You prevent young people from entering the life of crime. You reduce as much as possible the problem of crime and criminality. Why? Because, of course, it takes away and distracts from, of course, productive efforts and productive actions that would, of course, expand the economy, improve our GDP, and so, of course, the quality of life and standard of living for our community and our country will clearly be, of course, much, much better and of a higher standard. And of course, we are rapidly deteriorating under a Rowley administration, a Rowley PNM administration to be more specific, having regard, of course, to our standing and our standing then before the advent of Rowley and in the Caribbean. Now, of course, that is rapidly being deteriorated and, of course, being taken over by both, of course, Barbados and Ghana. So while one would have expected that Trinidad and Tobago would have at least maintained its dominance in terms of its hegemony or hegemonious influence in the region, we find it, of course, rapidly deteriorating. In fact, what we have observed is that Rowley seemed to want to impose himself on situations in order, of course, to give some semblance, at least to the domestic population, that Trinidad and Tobago has some kind of sway of significance in the Caribbean. But no, those of us who are in the know and those of us who understand the regional politics and the politics of the various Caribbean countries and the leadership, one would know that you move from a position of strength. And what has been happening is that whilst Barbados may not be a very vibrant or dynamic or should I say a very significant economic force in the Caribbean, but certainly, of course, Guyana has the potential and, of course, is inexorably getting there. But what Barbados has seemed to have as its advantage is a leader that has, of course, international respect, recognition, and so she is invited to all kinds of regional, hemispheric, and international fora to, of course, express her views on the various topics that the entity that would have invited her to make her presentation would have been attracted. Why am I saying that? Because it could have been on the issue of reparation, it could be on the issue of economic equity in the world, it could be on the issue of gender equality, and you name it, and of course small island developing states as far as climate change is concerned. All of the above, she was able, of course, to be should I say, sought after, and was always willing, I'm sure, at the expense of the other side. But in the case of Rowley has to pay his way. He paid people even to come here to, of course, set up a symposium called crime as a health hazard, as a public health issue, of course. And I don't want to say it but because I don't know if that would have attracted some time ago the banning temporarily, of course, until I made the argument to the contrary. But of course, I did say that, and I was very facetious, very, of course, should I say, ludicrous. Yes, I believe that it was so intended, ludicrous, to say that somehow crime is a public health issue, and of course, one had to be extremely facetious and, should I say, generating a level of mockery or lampooning that whole idea by, of course, indicating that if a fella point a gun at you and he let go the bullet, somehow you have to find a drugstore or a pharmacy in order to evade and not to be either another casualty or lose life or limb. That is how ridiculous it sounded and continues, of course, so to be. Of course, there are those who have, of course, gravitated to that issue, but I want to tell you what is more important. What is more important, clearly, is the approach to the existential problem. It cannot be that Rowley and they could tell us that look what happened in Guyana, look what happened in Jamaica, look what happened in the United States, look what happened in Europe, etc. Having regard, of course, to our unique circumstance and the fact that per capita we ought not to be in the position that we are in, but more significantly, Rowley and they told us that they had the panacea. Remember, they started, of course, with a 10-point plan because, of course, they were saying that Kamala Prasad-Bissessar was floundering, even though, of course, comparatively speaking, the murders then were much less, under Kamala Prasad-Bissessar were much less than what is happening at this point in time. Record-breaking murders after record-breaking murders after record-breaking murders for the last at least 3 or 4 years. But yet still, of course, when he was opposition leader during the course of the period of Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and the UNC between 2010 and 2015, he was complaining. In fact, he went as far as to say what? That if, of course, a country, a government is unable, of course, to address the question of crime and criminality, quite apart, of course, from his inability to treat, of course, the economy and, of course, settling the society to, of course, do what is required in order to improve the quality of life and standard of living. What we've seen is a almost rapacious, almost greedy deterioration of our circumstance. So once again, of course, let me formally say, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, east, west, north, south, central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are streaming on the World Wide Web. A pleasant good day to you. Yes, this is, of course, the Corridor Transformation, your Saturday edition. And yes, indeed, of course, we have a bumper program for you as per usual. I want to say once again that I'm behind the scenes, but nonetheless, of course, very active in terms of looking at the circumstances of Trinidad and Tobago today. Of course, the lines are also open. You can, of course, call me at 337-6940. 337-6940 as we continue, of course, to look at this. And yes, Rowley did say that, of course, if you are not part of the solution as a government, then you are part of the problem. And if that is the case, and that has been so over 3 to 4 record-breaking crime episodes in Trinidad and Tobago, why the hell Rowley and they have not, of course, called it quit? Why? Well, I want to tell you, as I've done before, and you would have known, is the level of hypocrisy and the level of course, do as I say, but don't do as I do. And that is, of course, the reality of Trinidad and Tobago today. Yes, indeed. And, of course, we have to make certain that we put things in perspective so that we are able to treat with the issues as we see it and as the circumstances demand. As the circumstances demand, and therefore in such circumstances and such situations, we have a duty and responsibility to tell Rowley and they get the hell out before, of course, preferably 2025, even though, of course, it is impractical so to do. But that is the level of what I consider to be urgency that they must, of course, consider themselves persona non grata at this point in time. They have failed the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore they must understand that they must make their exit. So, of course, once again, of course, those of you who wish to share, you can share. But let me just go to the line. Let me go to the lines one time. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
I called. This is Granny.
Yes.
I know Granny voice. Granny just always call. I know Granny voice. Right?
Yes.
I called to tell all you. Oh God, I have listened all the I have listened to the ground report. I have listened to TCT and heavy.
Yes.
Oh God, I'm glad people all over be the savior to save Trinidad and Tobago. All you will be the savior to save Trinidad and Tobago, yeah. As I lie on this bed here, God bless all, yeah. I didn't do, but I went to Presbyterian school. I said to Jesus, I'm begging him, mother, I'm begging them. All you is the savior of the elderly like we in Trinidad, yeah, and all is the savior to save Trinidad. We all confident and we all trust. It's going through, but we say it's not gone through yet. All is the savior here for Trinidad. For the boys, TC, Heavy, and all you, and workers' rights. I don't listen all.
Wow, you know all, boy. You know all. Yes, no, that is the team. That is the team. Yes. Very good. Yes.
All is the saviors for here. And I'm telling people in Trinidad and Tobago, Granny old, this PNM government rule, nearly 50 years, I think, nothing go better. Both UNC, both camera.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that intervention.
God bless all you. I'm praying for you. God bless all you to save Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, indeed. But yes, of course, the lines are open, as I said. But of course, I thought it was important to know we like to instantaneously prove what we say, because what we say we mean, and what we mean we say. And of course, what we have, of course, is when Rowley had said that if you are a government in power, and that there is rampant and unbridled crime and criminality, then you are part of the problem. And of course, it could only mean one thing, that you must make preparation to, of course, make your exit. Well, Rowley doesn't seem to understand that, and that is why we are clear in our minds, all of us must be, that they are a bunch of miscreants, they are opportunistic political parasites, and that they have always been so. because nothing that they have, of course, pursued, apart from it being, of course, always have some kind of sinister motive to stay in government and to, of course, do us harm and to pillage the treasury and to, of course, engage in a level of profligacy unprecedented in Trinidad and Tobago. I say yes, unprecedented, you sycophants. Or they could say all they want. The fact of the matter is that has never been so before. We have borrowed the most amount of money in the shortest possible time. They have not, in terms of value for money, we have not seen it. And on top of that, of course, we have a situation that they would like us to forget, and that is to say that the Auditor General has discovered over $2 billion, yet it was $3 billion in the beginning. They tried to reconcile part of it, but it's still there looming as a albatross, as a sword of destruction, and at the same time, that is on the revenue side. On the expenditure side, there's $1 billion, and I want to say to those PNM talk show hoax, I say hoax without any fear of contradiction. Hoax. They spew misinformation, disinformation, and display a level of ignorance that, of course, no one could believe. One human being or several human beings can, of course, so engage. But let's go to the line once again as we continue, of course, to treat with all of these matters. Look, the man there, he said in no uncertain terms that if a country cannot deal, a government cannot deal with the crime and situation, that they have to make their departure. I say to you that it was a mere hogwash, mere old talk, a mere pie in the sky talk, because the man has no principle, a total and absolute, what I consider to be dishonest individual who sought honest and sacred offices and has now polluted it. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Lennox.
Yes.
Yes, you hear me good?
Loud and clear, my friend. Loud and clear.
But you're coming through. You're running like the white horse in the movie last night too, boy.
Yes, man. Yes. I had to do something, boy. When they say necessity is the mother of invention, and
right.
Of course, yeah, when the going gets tough, according to one, the tough gets going, and we are tough people. Go ahead, my friend.
Right. You know, one of the most serious commandments you have.
Yes.
Is thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Yes.
You see what happening to them Democrats in America, Lennox?
Yeah. They complain.
What they say about Trump and lie and this and that.
Yes.
They shaving their head, all kind of things. They leaving the country. It's like they're going mad.
Yeah.
That's a serious thing. And I hope them over here realize that. Because I see bald-head Regis saying about Kamala, because they keep enough money. And money that to respond. This is a serious thing. These people talking, you know.
Yeah. Because they believe that they could say anything and get away with the nonsense that they are spewing only because they want to cover up their own incompetence, impotence, and they see in others that which is in them. No doubt.
Is there no two ways about that? I see how they gone Barbados. He going to meet with the defeated government. He going to meet with Maxine Waters and Blinken and all them fellas who just get licks in America there. Now what purpose he going there for?
That's why I'm telling you, the man is so susceptible and so engulfed with evil that he doesn't know when to quit and to act in Trinidad and Tobago's best interest. If that is the case, now I don't know. I know that he went. I know it was to talk about, of course, meeting with of course the officials in the United States. But I would have thought that they would be preparing to meet Donald Trump administration officials. Now you are telling me that he's still going behind.
Maxine Waters and these defeated Democrats,
But how does that equate to Trinidad and Tobago's interests at this point in time? If Barbados want to do that, if the Barbados, I will trust her. I'll trust her judgment, but not Rowley's. But Rowley has no personal, no sense of occasion and no sense of advancing Trinidad and Tobago's interest. We see that with how he dealt with Venezuela and continues so to do. We saw what he did, of course, with the OAS. We saw what he did at the United Nations. We saw what he did in the region by, of course, castigating even Guyana and the same Barbados. And therefore he's a total misfit and ought not to be engaging in those kinds of activities until, of course, the government changes and that he goes off into the twilight, but, of course, with the reservation of making sure that blue lights and silver bracelets he's investigated. But outside of that, what the hell is he doing? But go ahead. As I said, I didn't know, but thank you for that.
Yeah, I tell myself, what trouble is this?
Yeah.
The Democrats are just get defeated.
But what do you
Maxine Waters and these people, you can talk to them in the States at one time too, eh?
Yes.
They try and get in with Biden. But what is the purpose of he going to Barbados to sit down with them for?
I just don't understand this man. Before he looked to genuflect and to ask Donald Trump for forgiveness. Yes, I ask him for forgiveness because remember, I say so not because I want to humiliate him. I say that it is practical because he rests all Trinidad and Tobago's future and fortune in the dragon gas and with relations with Venezuela. And he knows very, very well how Trump would have felt then. And there's no guarantee that he's going to change his mind now. And therefore, that is the direction in which Rowley should be going. He's going down a road again to take Trinidad and Tobago further back. Go ahead, my friend.
He will change from Trump because Trump's not like this sycophant over here, you know. Can't fool Trump. So Trump is up no pressure on me.
Exactly. So he, Rowley, must know that and therefore put the appropriate mechanism in place to of course, gain the man's should I say, respect and the notice of him. But go ahead.
Yeah, he held that on this Venezuela thing, and like he lost all track of reality because jump by jump low, everybody had to deal with Trump Lennox.
Of course. Everybody should up for that. The Ukraine-Russian war, the state at which it is in now is in preparation for Trump. So that's everybody right. Preparing for Trump except Rowley. But Rowley's a compound backside.
See you. But we have to say so what we're going to tell you. Or you just can't stay in the country. You have singing at the backside of it.
I don't know. It appears he's restless, hopeless, and hapless. Restless, hopeless, and hapless. That's why I had to say, because I didn't know, and I didn't read the papers, so I was so busy trying to get tonight TV. Going. Yeah.
Go to Mitchell Maxine Waters and these defeated people.
I'll check it out after the program, yes.
All right, well, if anything, I'll call you back again.
Yes, my friend. Thank you very much for that information as well. People, I mean, it is a shame that these people cannot. I mean, these people are in cognitive, intellectual, and cerebral decline. I don't understand what you're going to talk with the outgoing elements of the Biden administration. Biden himself will be, of course, out by the middle of January. The inauguration of Trump is scheduled for the 20th, not so? Rowley must know that he has to part ways with people who want to live in the past and with the old, and take on board now and try to carve a new dispensation for Trinidad and Tobago, even though he is going out, but he doesn't have that vision. He doesn't have that ability to think that far. I suppose he's something like Heinz. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Yes, good night, Mr. Lennox Smith.
Yes, good night.
And good tonight.
Thank you. I want to tell you that it was your idea. I took on board your suggestion that I should stay behind the scenes because we couldn't get it rectified. No matter what tests we did. But when you spoke and you said, we can still have a program, I realized how important the program is. So I've decided, of course, to put things in place to make sure that we have a program tonight in this way. So thank you very much for that contribution. Go ahead.
Okay, you're welcome. No problems, man.
Yes.
We have to help each other.
That's right.
Yes. Never mind that say I have bad mind. You know me good.
No. I in that context, I think you have bad mind. You have good mind. Go ahead.
Yes, I big man went up. Oh, God. You see that thing where you go on Barbados Day? I still asking myself whole evening when I hear the news, what the hell wrong with this man?
I don't know.
He don't have no shame. He don't have no shame. When Hakeem Jeffries come here, when they had the gathering to come and eat up and drink up with food with them, carry cup. Delegates. What? And so, when they come here, one of the representatives was about 6 of them. A man came out and he had to talk concerning things he wanted with license for the Dragon gas deal. I will come to that Dragon thing just now. All you got ball.
All right.
Watch man. He get buff. They buff him. I have the video. If you see that buff, Rowley get white when them American buff him.
Wow.
But let's move on to this Dragon thing. I say I'm not giving no information. This is a warning. It's no big set of thing. It's a warning. Listen to this, Eleanor.
Yeah.
Listen good. His young man friend mean he have to stay there. Over there is communist now,
Total.
You hear what I'm telling you?
Oh, I would expect that because he's entrenching
100%
himself. Yes.
full 100 communists, And
Right.
he want to play doing that here, where he don't want people to give the family US dollars or they mustn't buy US dollars and sell. I will talk about that too. But anyhow, the friend make a law that anybody in the opposition, any official supporting this U.S. sanctions, where they we're driving them crazy, they with the sanction up, a set of them, right, and the military, etc., down to one of them gang men, we're ordering the money from Trinidad and Tobago. That is news, everybody know that. He named Diosdado Cabello. His daughter gets sanctioned. They seize up tree money and saving millions of dollars. This young girl with all this money now.
Okay.
So, what I'm telling you, he make a law that anybody, any official supporting the U.S. with them sanction and supporting the U.S. And his politician, they cannot run for no election, their presidential election, for 60 years.
Wow.
What you call that?
He gone berserk. Total.
He gone berserk, but the man make a law, it have the law.
But I'm saying
Law
that doesn't mean to
passed
say he
2
can't go
days
berserk.
now.
So he has gone berserk. Yeah, he has gone berserk. Yeah.
So,
he has gone mad.
Watch the scene there now. If Ms. Prasad Bissessa win the election, right? And he don't want to with Kamala,
Well, she don't want nothing with him. As
right?
well.
So
I mean, it's
that's
mutual.
what I tell all a long time,
Yeah.
We know that. So this is when now it ain't gonna have no dragon gas, not in 100 years. Right?
Once
And
he is
then
there, it will
none
have
of
it. Yeah. I agree with you.
Once he there, and
Yeah.
then too,
how
Caller,
then
hold on. I have
opposition,
another caller on the official line. Go ahead, Miss
how
Arima.
members of the opposition going to run for presidential election is a coalition. Is a coalition of parties that form. And all of them support the US. So therefore, nobody from these parties will make a coalition could run for election. End of story. I will come back in.
Yes, thank you very
Give
much.
the other person a chance.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Go ahead. Information. Go ahead, caller, on the handset. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
Hey, Lennox, how you doing tonight?
Well, of course, we just fight it up. I couldn't have 2-3 days pass and we didn't have something formidable to discuss, and we always have a date with history. But go ahead.
Yeah, nothing to discuss. I was watching the program. The things were going on in Trinidad. I see Uncle Rowley give himself a raise over there. So
Yes.
Money for 4% for every 4%. He felt out on everybody else, and when he felt out on himself, I 50-something%.
Yeah, 47. They say 47%. Yeah.
And everybody all right with that. Nobody are coming out. Only call a protest about fly down and not come and join up the protest. Anyway, I just wanted to say, just call it down. The next thing is the WhatsApp not working. I tried to call the WhatsApp and it ain't working.
WhatsApp. All right, okay, let me check that because it's supposed to be. In fact, Miss Arima, just put it down there. Miss Arima, just talk on it. So it is working. Let me just inform you. It might have been that while she was speaking, you might have been calling.
All right, no see. All right, thank you, Mr. Lennox.
Yes, no problem. Okay, then. Thanks for your call as well.
Bye.
Bye. Yes. Indeed, people, don't forget, of course, I am behind the scenes because we are having some audio issue, and I don't want to exacerbate the situation. We have to have a program going, and I will damn well have it done, no matter what. So, people, of course, you can, of course, look on to Love Laventil, as well as, of course, the Corridor Transformation on YouTube right now, and you will get the program. Of course, those of you who are so minded and who have been doing human service to the Corridor Transformation, I will implore you, I will beg you, I will beseech you to continue, of course, to share, have people like, subscribe, so that we can continue, of course, on this journey. Sometimes, as everything else, things do not go perfect, but that is human circumstance. Nothing is perfect on this earth. If it was, then we wouldn't have all this trouble that we are having across the globe, and of course, in people's personal circumstance. But that being as it may, the fact of the matter is that we have to, of course, persevere. Yes, indeed. As I was saying, that of course Dr. Rowley would like to have us believe that somehow he has gone again in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago, and it has turned out once again not so to be. Our common sense will tell us that. He could say what he wants, that he's Prime Minister and so on. That is only superficial and clearly superfluous. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor on the, of course, the formal system.
Lennox.
Yes.
The man needs to have a raise because he's working hard for the country, boy.
We're saying he now working for the money that he claiming now.
He working hard for the country. That with them paying them supporters to be saying.
by going on this domestically, he has produced nothing. Going out there, he has brought back nothing. But of course, he alone is claiming he brought back about $75 million or somebody, or $700 and something million in what? And we can't see it. But go ahead, my friend.
Them don't see that. So everything that happening bad is the UNC caused that. Right? And they go take years for the PNM to correct all of that. Years. That's the kind of dotish kind of people that be supporting foolishness in this country.
Yeah.
They go take a lifetime, the whole liver string, they go dead and gone. And the children go be growing up, and they go dead and gone and still support foolishness like that. I'm telling them, again, notice, not one of all here will be getting a and increase any other pension in the future. In fact, if things go according to plan, as what Mr. Rima said here, they cut that dragon deal, and it didn't come to fruition, all they're going to lose all their pension. All of them, including disability, everybody going down the road. They cut it all because we got to go before the IMF, and they will institute some draconian measures, the likes of we never see before since 1986, when the NRA come in here, right? And that is for them to put in their pipe and smoke it. This man, Keith Scotland, he is really a mime, you know. That man is only go around the place and talk. Tell he wearing high heel shoes for his mouth, you know. They only going talk. Big shootout in Port of Spain last night, right? Some man gets shot at about some 50-year-old people, these gunmen went to shoot. And they kill one of them, and the rest of them get injured at fast food establishment. And this jokey man will come out and say, here what you say, Lennox?
Yeah.
All shooting, right? All shootings that take place in this country is serious, but this is more serious because it happened in the capital.
Where it happened? Because I'm not aware. Where it happened?
In Independence Square.
Oh, right.
Castle
Wait. So where he living by? So much of that happened on Independence Square, Lara. I mean, you had a big police investigation now when, of course, the police run down, followed a car, run down these fellas, and they crash into the Republic Bank there on Independence Square on Balara Promenade. He don't know all of that before he make that kind of, what I consider be rash and dotage statement. But go ahead, my friend.
That is what I tell you. They put he there just to talk. He have a high issue for his mouth. And he didn't talk.
No, he talk.
Yeah, talk.
If it was Miss Santa Cruz, you'd have say it's more like a rara. Good Friday.
And nothing, no solutions, you know. Only a set of talking. From this man.
Puffery,
Yeah.
Superfluous, cacophonous babblings.
The month didn't start yet tomorrow, December. And I sure we close to 590 already. Because it had about 4 or 5 people dead for the weekend, right? Well, we guarantee making that 600 within the first 2 weeks of December. I tell you so, because the way things going now, these criminals on CJ with people, you know, because right now they want money, and crime going on the upsurge now. So everybody is under the gun. Me, you, everybody. You gotta watch where you're going. Everything else, they ain't care who he is, you know. Them shooting here anyway. You see, they go in fast food restaurant and dealing with it there. Keith Scotland and the police can't help you. They can't protect you. Huh? I feel the police working to rule, Lennox. They only doing their job as they're supposed to do it and nothing more. Because they caught out the whole year and the 4 fellas get away. So how much that come there to shoot? All of them escape. They vanish into thin air.
Wow.
It's serious trouble in this place, you know. And I can tell you, December month now is going to start, and you will see an unprecedented crime levels taking place in the month of December. Things ain't looking good. And this Raramount government, all they can do is get themselves the pay increase and all that for nothing. And they have nothing to show for it, you know. And Rowley justifying that, you know, boy. I hope the people of this country taking stock and watching, because when it come time to vote, all they have to put all their X with council and get these people out of office. Because if you put them back there for another 5 years, it's going to be more the same but worse. Because I tell you as it is, the way they're running down the country, without that gas deal, we're in for some real harsh times. And I tell you as it is, Trump ain't no friend of he, right? Just like he's no friend of Maduro. So let them take it. He and Stuart Smallpen, they could sing what song they want. When Trump come there, every damn dog that back in go out and shut up. How about good, you know?
Yes, indeed. But I think, my own experience. The coup was over. He came back from Africa, donated some tools to the program, and then, of course, in discussions, Robin. That's my own experience, people, right here. Robinson set up. Yes, people. That's my experience. Let me just pause for a while. Lie down, boy, lie down. Let's go to the line. Let's go to the lines.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Professor, good night. Welcome.
Yes, man. The Fox here.
Hey, how you good, man? Sorry about today, but I couldn't call you. I'm trying my best to see if we have a program tonight. And boy, I was totally absorbed, but I think we did well. Yes.
Now, we in Tobago here,
yeah,
we are worried that Trinidadians not settled, that they will vote for Kamala. We want Kamala. We wish we could have voted for Kamala. Kamala would have won seats here. The Tobagonians are talking. They are talking about Trinidadians. They said they're afraid with them. They're afraid because they're behaving like little children, right? You don't have to tell people you're suffering. Suffering supposed to you do your finger and leg. You only know you're suffering, right? And hear what happened. Rowley borrowing so much money till he borrowed from Satan and all, and now he had to pay back with human lives. You know so much lives that lost in all the time? This is Satan money paying back. And I'm blaming the unions of Trinidad and Tobago to join together. Why they're not joining together and make a massive march towards this government and let them come out of power. What is wrong with us? We are dead people in this country. What is wrong with us? We have to stand up. You can't let Rowley doing us what he wants. Rowley don't even know Trump will elect the presidency in America right now. Because the fella head bad. The fella head gone. He's confused. That dragon he talking about, that dragon not blowing no fire no more. That dragon dead, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I get that impression as well that he don't know it's Trump who win the election. He should be seeking Trinidad and Tobago's interest. But suppose he has not been doing that since he came into government. Always trying to further his own nest, and of course, always inimical to Trinidad and Tobago's interest. But that is how it is, and we are going to expose that for what it is. President, good night. Welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night, Lennox, to you and to everybody out here.
Yes.
Lennox, something is definitely going on with the WhatsApp because I've been trying for the longest while and I'm now getting through.
All right.
I'm now getting through.
All
right? But
yes.
Lennox, something is definitely wrong with Rowley. Something is definitely wrong with that man. That rotten gut lying lunatic Obia man. Right? Everything backfiring on him now. Lennox, imagine this man, I don't know, like the liquor to Jumbi, eat this man shame, you know. You come to justify that you deserve it, your government deserve because you're working hard. Working hard at doing what? Lying? You tell us to tighten our belts, eat salt and green fig, wean off the government. Just recently, we heard Imba telling us that they cannot afford to pay the unions in UE. And you coming to tell us you're getting $1 million back pay? Lennox, well, they're going to borrow money to pay that or what?
Don't be surprised.
Because if the UE money is a burden on the taxpayers, what is this? And it's the ignorance of the PNM supporters. Lennox, one went so fast to say, it's not Dr. Rowley receiving that money. It's the office of the Prime Minister. So who is the Prime Minister? That's the level they reach.
Oh my goodness. Manic depressive psychosis. They lost track of reality.
Yeah. And you know that the sellers come here and lie, right? I was called about and lie, okay?
Yes.
I will sell it for you. I will sell it for you where the sycophant said it. It is not Dr. Rowley getting it, is the office of the Prime Minister. But then the SRC said the Prime Minister is getting this amount of money. Where it is that they said the office of the Prime Minister and the opposition leader and the Chief Justice and the President, right? But you see, they're trying all out to justify this money. I wonder how they're feeling to know he just tell all of that. You give CPAP workers $2. You didn't even give the pensioners a cent or even the disabled. And you taking that amount of money, Lennox? So all of us who have to face the groceries the same way, we know they get a lot of things free. We are not getting anything free. And you want to tell me this man did he have a swinging brick, you know? That man don't have a heart. He have a swinging brick.
I like that one. I like that one. A swinging
yes,
brick.
Yes, Lennox. A swinging brick.
And it has to be several bricks, not just one.
Lennox, let me tell you something, eh? This man now, Kamala raised the issue with the Venezuelan people. Right? Either you behave yourself or you go back. This shameless Warahoon say, and he and the next one, say that Kamala looking for votes. When he had the email, when he bring out the email, what he was looking for, I want to say it, you know, but I wouldn't say it. What he was looking for when he bring out the emails, Lennox, and lied about Section 34, lied about the property tax, lied about the HSF, Kamala thief out all the HSF money. What was he looking for, not votes?
Nah, he was looking for hampers.
The failure.
They will tell you he was looking for hampers. For his constituency that he refused.
He must be looking for honey goat weed.
All that.
Yeah. And then the next failure they call Hines. Talk about Kamala looking for votes. So what I'm looking for? What they're looking for? Only looking to make confusion. Lennox, I don't know when the hour will reach for us to go and get rid of this man. How much? Because we know it's almost a year we have to wait again before he call elections.
Yeah, but he has to. He has to. We were 3 years ago. We were impatient. It has boiled down now to months now. So we have forbearance. We have forbearance. We are going to do what we have to do. Ultimately, he has to do what he has no choice to do, but will try to resist as much as he can. But of course, the system is such that he cannot pull a Maduro on us. Cannot.
Lennox, and he going down to the wire, you know.
Yeah, he going down to the wire,
no
doubt.
Right down, no doubt. Because you know why he want that money.
Yeah.
He want that prime minister money.
And he's hoping that somehow he could be extricated from the wrath of the people in the process. Yeah. So it's multiple propaganda, multiple misinformation, multiple diversions, and they are coming with a rapidity that is considered to be rapacious, greedy. But we will sift through and we will focus on what is required to make the population know that they must stay steadfast and get rid of them when the time comes.
Exactly. Yeah. And Lennox, you know, this man talking one set of nonsense, right? Talking one set of nonsense about the money and Kamala want votes and whatever. But everybody, right-thinking citizens are of the opinion, right? That this man, like he really don't want to go back there, because no government in an election year will accept money like that. When you keep telling the electorate and them, tighten your belt, and recently he come with what we will see. There will still be hard times until 2027, and you come and you do this. You really don't care about the people of this country. That is why, Lennox, we are so glad for all these programs that we can expose them. We can expose all their nastiness.
Caller, hold on. We have another caller on the line. Yes. Go ahead, Ms. Alacruz. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. We will expose them, Lennox. Regardless of how we doing it, we're going to expose them and their lies, because they cannot continue with that nonsense, Lennox. Lennox, you take care and have a good night, and we'll chat again.
Yes, certainly. Of course, that was our external correspondence, of course, Mr. Santa Cruz, giving her piece tonight. Of course, let's go to the line on the handset, on the handheld set. Professor, good night. Welcome.
Good night. This is San Fernando.
Yes, Mr. San Fernando. Go ahead. Yes.
I finally get on.
Yes, boy. Yes. I finally get through to all you as well. it is reciprocal. I had a challenge up to today, but we were able to meet the deadline for tonight. Go ahead.
Is that Miss Santa Cruz who was talking there just now?
Yes, that was Miss Santa Cruz, our external correspondent.
What she said?
She
and that a caller, that a PNM supporter said that it's not Rowley that getting.
No, it's the office. It's the office of the
PN. That kind of thing though surprised me, because listen to this. Remember the days that they say Robinson Thief?
Yes.
You know, I heard this story several times, and one of the stories was that Eric Williams came back in his office to find Robinson signing the $50 bill or the $2 bill or whatever bill it was.
Yeah.
So see the crap that they talk.
Yeah. It's
how a man can be signing all of that money?
Manic depressive psychosis. They simply are disconnected from the reality of the situation and the situation. But go ahead.
So that's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, that's all.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. But a very important issue was raised earlier, because I really want to talk about solution. But before I get to the solution, of course, we have to know what the problem is, because how else would there be? How could you arrive at a solution if you don't know what the problem is? But of course, in the discussion so far tonight, we have seen that the government has been able to use what I consider to be, and I cannot overemphasize, misinformation, disinformation, untruth, deception, and rank and unadulterated dishonesty, and as if they have bouts individually and collectively of bipolarism, as if they are schizophrenic. And of course, their duplicitous behavior is one that one wonders what asylum all of them will have to be, of course, registered in when they would have left office, and clearly in disgrace and humiliation, because that must be part and parcel of the position of every single citizen of this country, if only to send the message. Because in court, when the judges want to send a message that our behavior is unacceptable, particularly, of course, in civil matters, they give, of course, sanctions that are of a punitive nature, so that nobody must venture, or nobody again must venture that kind of behavior in a civil society. So we must include in the discussion and in the lead up to the elections and after, we must say to Rowley and they, nobody must try what they try and get away, as they have not been able so to do, because the population is extremely conscious. They must be punished. I'm talking about blue lights and silver bracelets. But go ahead, my friend from Faizabad. A pleasant good night.
Good evening, Mr. Lennox. I would like to wish everyone a wonderful evening and a Merry Christmas. And for God's sakes, please vote out the PNM for a better future for me.
So, Mr. Lennox,
Hey.
a pleasant good night to you and all your listeners, and to share your life.
I got perturbed and at the same time confuffled, because I know that is not the voice that I expected to hear. So I say like somebody hack you, but it's all right. Go ahead. You have confirmed that wasn't so. Go ahead.
No, that is Generation Next. That's Generation Next. You hear what he just said, right?
I hear you. Yes. Go ahead.
So he extended Let me send back the message so you can hear.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that at all. Now that I know that you were not hacked. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead, young man.
Good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night.
I would like to wish everybody a wonderful Christmas.
Good.
And for God's sakes, may the people unite and vote out the PNM.
Yes, indeed. And that's a young man. I'm sure that he's sounding like he's under 18, Mr. Faizabad. You could correct me. And if he is not, then I expect that he would have done what he have to do in order to vote.
Then if he could have vote, he would have vote.
All right,
and
good.
yes,
So it means that he's under 18. Right.
Way under 18, yeah.
Okay, all right, good. Okay.
So Mr. Lennox,
yes,
and to all the listeners, you see how I will be brutal to you.
No problem.
And give you your Christmas gift. Right?
Yes.
So, first I will start by condemning you to the highest level of where you say that you are going to screen on Monday. And then after, I tell you, no, you're not going to be screened, and your political life is ended. But you see, Mr. Lennox, when I came and I sit down for half an hour and lie to everybody and say, this country can offer to pay me my money and my back pay, and that how the economy is doing very good and I can afford it. Maybe all the boys and girls who do the dirty bidding in high society and the high circle, is it a pay for them now? So they will have to get rewarded, and we have to see through the legal way, because that is one way. But how it is, the PNM pollers and all the machinery is not asking why India is not being investigated by the FIU and seeing this $3 billion missing. And the thing about it, with the people at Lavantil, they came out and said they didn't want Hines. Then Hines said, no, he get the vote. Then the Prime Minister, the leader tell him, no, he's not going back. Is that sounding familiar in reality what's going on right now? India tell the working class, the guy had no money. He freeze employment. He freeze everything and put taxes on us. And tax we to the core. Tell me that property tax will, if you are drain clean, we have to pay tax to clean drain. So now, you're seeing that the working class, the teachers, union, the public servants, the firemen, the national security apparatus, the whole construction of them, no fire unit, no boat, and look how they're treating the working class in this country. And then he say he willing to accept. So just as the people wanted Hines to go, I did it for you know, just as I wanted Hines to go, and Hines say he's staying, and Rolly say Hines had to go. You think if the people come out and say the PNM have to go, and they will have to go?
But of course, that's the ultimate arbiter, ultimate decision maker in a democracy. We still have a democracy in spite of the autocracy that Rowley is attempting, of course, to perpetrate on the people. And of course, the auto coup that he obviously has been attempting is an ongoing saga. We saw it, of course, when the Privy Council rejected him with respect, of course, to the local government. We saw, of course, a more recent rejection with respect, of course, to the Auditor General and that matter that she brought, she brought before them. Yes, a judicial review. Yeah, so we are clear. Go ahead, my friend.
Right. So, what the message I get out tonight to all the listeners, that together when we stand up in one voice, and they call that unity, in spite of the destruction of the few slave catchers who, same thing history had recorded, that when they wanted to be free and to have a better life, other slaves was telling them, no, master still treated we good. We getting straw now to sleep on. We get a straw to sleep on. And the working class suffer for 9 years. Is it not? They comprise of the voters at the PNM too? And I sure it comprises of half of them is PNM supporters. They will have supported the PNM, which is their right. Now, when a man, as a leader of a country, could do the work as that, and the humane that the senior citizens are going through, it hurt my heart to see. For a common cause, we have a bus, we have a taxi, and we have a train now, just to jump on and give the support to send the message. People still lying. Mr. Lennox, may God bless you tonight. And I would like to tell some of the listeners who know this voice, a pleasant good night. And to keep up the work and let me start coming out and letting our numbers be counted. Have a good night and thank you for the call.
Thank you very much as well for your intervention. Very forthright indeed and always on the button in terms of raising significant issues that are of import to the population and to the general public. That being as it may, I thought I would, of course, focus on the nature of this government in terms of how they have managed by way of talk, superficial, superfluous, cacophonous babblings, and of course ambulatory verbalizations that at the end of the day turn out to be just vapid, just unnecessary, otious, dogmatic, and of course attempting of course to gaslight and to fool and to have people dislocated in terms of their own intelligence. In other words, I use the term to mean that insulting our intelligence. Now just imagine Rowley continues of course to tell us that he run a government under difficult circumstance. Having met, but let's go to the lines. There is a caller, so I don't want to of course frustrate. No, I lost it. But under difficult circumstance, I want you to understand what this man has been about for the last 9 years. Because to say difficult circumstance and to find the narrative, the vocabulary in order to justify that, without of course referencing, which of course is the duty and responsibility of those who he is speaking to and on whose behalf he is saying that he was operating under difficult circumstance. We must therefore make the comparison between the difficult circumstance which he refers to and that of the difficult circumstance that Kamala Prasad Bisesa inherited in 2010. And is he saying that of course the PNM had a salubrious or good circumstance after of course the departure of Robinson in 1991 in that election and came into government, the Manning administration of which Rowley was a part? And then of course we had the situation with Basio Pandey coming in 1995. And then of course after that period, about 2001, we had another PNM administration coming into office until 2009. But let's go to the line. Pleasant good. Let me just. Oh, hello. We lost that one. Don't forget, people, of course, I am behind the scenes in order to get a proper running program. It appears that it's either the computer has not enough ability to carry with, of course, with the camera, or that there's some internet issue, and I don't want to chance it until, of course, Monday, when we try to make a correction, having regard, of course, to the availability of what is required, whether it be internet providers being open or having equipment that we may have to get, even though, of course, we have difficulty in getting money. But the fact of the matter is that we have to look, and we have to, of course, have a program irregardless, because when the going gets tough, as I said, the tough gets going. And of course, challenges is the mother of invention. Yes, difficulty is the mother of invention. One has to be creative, and one has to be, of course, have a level of foresight in order, of course, to make sure that we deliver. And this is too crucial. To have one day without, of course, the corridor transformation. And therefore, tonight is another night for the corridor transformation to have their message gotten across with you and through you. But here it is, Dr. Rowley, in saying that he had a difficult time. Not that other governments didn't have a difficult time, but he alone had a difficult time. The difficulty here, when you compare what he has gotten and what Robinson had gotten, is chalk and cheese. The disparity is huge, is mammoth. Robinson met, of course, a situation where, and it is measured, of course, by imports availability of 2 months import for Trinidad and Tobago. Robinson had to go to the IMF soon after, and of course all of the conditionalities that even to today some people are annoyed about, but no doubt was perfect fodder, a perfect spawning ground for the PNM to capitalize upon. I am not saying these things by accident, you know. I am saying it because it is occurring in Tobago. So I want you to always look at your own circumstance and the existential situation in order to conclude whether or not either I am making sense or it is the reality of the situation. So here it is. The PNM was able to capitalize on the fact that Robinson had to go to the IMF. And why am I saying so? Because Robinson inherited an economy, a country that only had 2 months of imports. 2 months of imports. We're looking probably at $1 billion in reserves. If you had equated 2 billion in reserves. And of course, he inherited that. What does that mean? It came from somewhere. It came from a PNM government. A PNM government. For the first time, the PNM was out of office. Let's go to the line. In 1986, devastatingly, just as how they have been devastated in Tobago. 14-1. Let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Yes, good night, my friend, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you.
Yeah, I see this Prime Minister trying to break all records, right?
Yeah. That seems as though, but always of a pernicious nature. Yeah.
Yeah, the most traveled Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Minister. He's breaking record for murders.
Yes.
Because I think we are into the second highest murder right now.
I think the third.
Right?
The third.
No, this is the second. Yeah. Now he's breaking that. It's 576. That passed already, man.
Oh, okay.
Right. And the government has spent the most money, the most set of money for the 10 years. $600 and something billion.
Yeah.
Remember, no other government in the history of Trinidad because spend that kind of money.
That's right. I was saying that earlier in my opening remarks. Yes.
Well, I didn't hear. No, I was sorry. I tuned in late.
No problem. I'm just updating you.
Yeah, but the most amount of money spent by any government in the history of Trinidad is this government.
Yeah. Yes, you're quite right.
And they have nothing to show for it.
Nothing.
So how this man could say that the country have no money? You have to be joking, man.
Yeah.
But I will tell you what he said that is true. He said the people at Trinidad and Tobago are stupid. And I had to shake his hand for that because people are really stupid. Because nobody hit the streets after all of this. I watched in Kenya, people hit the streets for tax.
Oh,
and
yes.
They had to remove it.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
We're not serious in this country, Mr. Lennox. Well, I noticed on the paper this morning, I already don't buy papers, but I went in the shop and I saw where the union picketed his home.
Yeah.
You saw it?
No, I didn't see it, but I'm not surprised because that was done to Malcolm Jones, and I think
they picketed his home.
Imsburg got one right. Good, beautiful, right. That is the way to go.
They start, and they say more to come.
Beautiful, that's the way to go.
Yeah, this man is despicable, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's...
I don't already watch him, you know.
Dishonest.
I told you, yeah.
And criminalistic.
Yeah, when you're on the TV, I pick it off. I don't already watch this.
Yeah, in my home too, before I mash up the TV, they had to take it off.
He just vexed my spirit, boy.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
He's dishonest. I don't like people with dishonest. And you know what the funny part is? The people who just support him, boy. I remember I used the word for your aristocracy.
Yeah, I talked about it last time.
Government by least qualified citizens.
By least qualified people, yeah.
Yes, because listen to me. He implementing property tax, not Kamala. Any people in our houses, they have to pay. Or are they being subsidized by Rowley? All these PNM supporters and them. And they have to pay property tax.
Of course they have to pay.
All these areas.
Of course they have to pay. So, they are suicidal.
So you have to like yourself first. You can't like a party. My grandmother always tell me you have to like yourself first.
That's
you
right.
You can't like anybody else.
Yes.
So you are sacrificing yourself, your children, to pay money that you don't have? Come on, man. Give me a break. Anyhow, good night.
Good night to you. And I want
man.
Yes, thank you very much, of course. And I want to add that, of course, those persons are the vast minority, but they have access to influential platforms. And that is where it comes to yours and my air. A pleasant good night once again, Miss Arima.
Yes, Mr. Lennox. Listen to me.
Go ahead.
I keep saying, for 2 years now, we have to push out this man.
Caller, hold on. We have a caller on the main line. All right? Go ahead, Miss Arima.
Yes, I keep saying we're supposed to be pushing out this government. And what I mean by that is by protesting, right? You see what happened now? All kind of thing come and happen. Look at the last hour here now and people still talking about we will vote them out. We cannot forget the man out to thief the election. Do not forget that. We cannot vote them out. So study the boundaries in South and Central Trinidad and Tobago. Study the black people in East-West Corridor, the Negroes is going to vote him back. All this thing where they put out Hines and Hines say he ain't going back and all of that. They don't want Hines, but it's not that they're going to reject the PNM. They're going to vote for that young man. So boo. That don't mean nothing. Where Hines going his way. Hines is a smart man. Don't mind that I say dumb. He will get away from sanction because sanctions coming now, you know. With that Marco Rubio is blows for all CARICOM country, not only this island here alone. But we will get it more stiff with this involvement with this crazy gang man friend he have next door there. Right?
Yeah.
Now, Friday gone, I was listening to TC and them, right? And they want to have protests and thing, and a lot of people call in and say they will protest. Then I listen on a program with Dale. They call him Dale the Voice. He have this artificial intelligence and he asking it questions and things. And I call in and ask a question to the artificial intelligence concerning the punishment of this government, with misbehavior in public office and certain things, I can't remember the question too much. And for the thieving and so are the money. So the artificial intelligence explain certain things, with the law, what could be done to them. But the answer, we know that ain't happening here in this Trinidad and Tobago. But the best part, after she explained the last option, the artificial intelligence said, it was a woman, is that the citizens of the country, I want people to listen good, and this is something I say all the time. This is all your rights, right? The citizens of the country could protest, right, people? And that will draw international attention. And with international attention or international intervention in this thing, right? What going on here in this country, they could get sanctioned. You hear what it is I'm telling you all? They could be sanctioned. Also, if the opposition, this is me now, use her diplomacy, right? This country is going, this government officials could get sanctioned just like Nicolas Maduro and them. It don't have to be what Nicolas doing if we do that. No, it have certain things they're doing wrong, and that's the best thing for them. And that could have happened a long time, and they would have never reached to be doing us all this kind of thing. But they say we're stupid. So this is how we stupid, because people afraid police. It have international law saying it again. They can't touch here. They make mistake, right? They could get in trouble for that. Once we have the backing of the opposition, right? If we go out there and they tear gas, they point gun at we and all of that, it's her duty to go, to side with the people who protest, right? Because we are the opposition too. We want them out. We cannot depend on this voting thing, that coward man thing, that old talk, right? We need observers for the elections from the Carter Foundation. People must put that voice. Every time they call, like Mr. Faizabad, they should be saying that, right? I want to touch on the thing what Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar say about sending back migrants who break the law, the illegal ones. Watch me. About 80% of them here illegal. Because if you come in our country without a passport, some of them may even have the ID card, you're illegal. We don't want to know nothing about their business, about they can't get passport. That is their business. You can't get, you can't afford, you don't come in people place. But, you see what she said there? It go cause plenty thing. You see what Hines say? Is one thing he say and he error, and I could see it. He might see it different, right? With what I going to explain, but he know it will cause hate. It already have hate. It already have a hate. We're seeing what going on, right? It cause jealousy, and it have all kind of thing going on, right? But it will have further hate, great hate, because these people love TT Dollar and they don't want to go back. You think they go like she? I just talk the truth, you know. You think they go like that? Here is as nice as America to them. It has some of them go all Spain, they go Colombia. Some of them goes in Colombia, they come here when they hear about here. They sweet, sweet tea and tea. You think they go like she? These people going to get frightened and vicious. And they will do all kind of thing, all kind of thing. When people vicious and they're frightened, you will see the colors now. Right? So that is what's going to happen. Then we have, she had to study. Is she people were looking just like she, love them. And it caused all kind of thing. Them people were looking like she people. They love them plenty. Everybody seeing that, they know that. And they talk it all on the station. So if they love them and they have children with them, and they're marrying them and they're helping them to come here, because as soon as they cry, you hear these Venezuelan people cry out and tell them, mi mamá y mi papá está en Venezuela sufriendo, ellos tienen hambre, está sufriendo de hambre, ellos necesitan, ellos quieren mi familia viene para acá. That means my mother and father in Venezuela, they're passing hungry, right? They're suffering, and I want them to come here. As soon as they hear that, they're forking out the money for mother, father, cousin, sister, family, everybody coming here. And they're making money. People have to study all of that. These people build up all kind of 2-story, 3-story apartment building, furnished, and they're making money, and they're making money, and they're making money, and they're making money. It had the businessmen. They're making the money, they're making the money, they're making the money. It had the whole house as well. So, think about what I say. Think about the good people. Right? We have to make up with mind, we stand with ground. Because we can't go in their country and get away. Right? Study it. And study it well. Good night.
Good night, good night. Of course, another call. I'm ready to respond or comment on that, or add to that statement. I think it's very valid, but it's something that we need to, of course, ventilate and extrapolate, and to, of course, take it to its logical conclusion. But let's go to the lines. Professor, good night. Welcome on the hand phone.
Hello. Good night, Mr. Lennox. So go on.
Good night. All right. In this circumstance, I'm behind the scenes, but of course, we have to. The job must continue.
Yeah, man. I realize that. So, I give one shout, man.
Yes.
So things.
Well, you know, fighting up. We are here. We are looking at, of course, at that Barbados meeting. We are saying that it is unnecessary. It is otious. It does not benefit Trinidad and Tobago, and we have a Prime Minister that clearly has demonstrated he is not about acting in the best interest of the people, but of course will do things probably for his political survivability, and of course lining his friends, family, and finances with, of course, the resources of the country illicitly. In addition.
Oh, you mean like the Jamaican Prime Minister, where the
something like the Jamaican
the
Prime Minister, who of course is now in a lot of hot water for avarice and misbehavior in public office, and in short, corruption. Hello. Oh boy, we always having this breaking communication issue since we have been in contact with each other. All right, well, you'll have to call back because I would have loved to hear your response as to the similarity between, of course, Wholeness and that of Rowley in terms of their management style and their conduct, wise in office. you know, we are very, very, and must be very concerned, especially in trying times. But let's go to, we have another caller in the meantime. A pleasant good night. Pleasant good night. Let me see if I get. Caller, come a little closer to your mic. I'm not getting you. I'm not hearing you well. I see what is wrong. Just hold on. Let's see what's wrong. Go ahead now. Wait no.
On the land, fish looking to get back in water.
Yes.
Rowley is like fish out of water.
Yes.
He's looking for water all over the place to go to survive, to live.
Yes.
Because when fishes, you can remember a long time people used to say, when the fishes is on the land, it go dead. So it's looking to go for water to live, to survive.
Yes.
That is Rowley right now. He's fish out of water.
Well said. I think that is a perfect analogy as to the circumstance of the Prime Minister and the government as a whole at this point in time. Mary was making the point just to support what Miss Arima would have said about the invasion of Venezuelans and other Latinos from very specific countries here in Trinidad. I would like to say that even, of course, those who have a propensity for criminal behavior in Trinidad, for example, whether you are Spanish or otherwise, or Venezuelan, or you are born Trinbagonian, you wouldn't like, of course, laws that would impact on your inability to, of course, have your way. So from that perspective, I merely thought I should make that point, because from that perspective, one cannot, of course, falter Kamala Persal-Bissell. So whether she is liked or not by the statement is irrelevant, frankly, because, of course, the law is the law, and if you breach the law, it does not matter whether or not somebody advocates for deepening, widening, broadening, having a greater dragnet in order, of course, to solve the problem, which, of course, is really and truly becoming out of hand and is deepening and broadening in the context of Trinidad and Tobago today. And somebody must say something, somebody must engage. However, yes, so these are some of the issues that I thought I should comment upon with respect to the comment of Ms. Arima. But go ahead, caller. That's a good night.
Yes, Lennox, Ms. Arima, right? Some of them Trini men and them, they love to see them fair skin bellies and run them down. And you tell you about one the other day.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, you did.
He doing maxi work for the government, right? They fire detail.
Yeah.
And he get triplets from one of them, you know.
Wow.
So you have 4 billion to see about. One shot, he get 3. Right? And
But I wanted to speak to the criminal part of it. I don't know, because there's a school of thought that says that they are prepared to do work that average Trinidadians are not doing, and therefore that category is contributing. Yeah, but what about, you're talking about those that are not contributing? Yeah.
Who facilitate that way talking about it? Not the PNM. They drop all the NIS and all these other things. They have to pay no taxes.
Okay.
Right? So right. Who go and pick them up? Who go and pick them up? Not the business people that the PNM is front with.
All right, okay.
All of them business people, and then pick up a set of values that work for them and deny trainees because they don't have to pay no NIS and any kind of benefits for them. So they're exempted, right?
Great.
And these people working for next to nothing. They hire them to work for less than 100, some of them.
Great.
And they taking the money. They don't care. You understand?
Great.
So the government, Stuart Young, Dr. Rowley, them bring these people here. They open the floodgate. And the people coming in left, right, and center because the border is unprotected. It's unprotected for 10 years, and it will remain unprotected because remember they say they may get no vessel until 2027.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, it's more the same we going through here. This place is a drug transshipment point now, you know, and a narco state. That's why this country ain't fall apart yet. It's a narco state. How are you there?
Yes, indeed. I want to tell a caller go to the top of the class because I raised that issue as a ant's nest, so to speak, as a Jack Spider nest. But he adequately, of course, responded. And that is to say that even though there are people who are law abiding, one, it doesn't mean that they are not here illegally. And if, of course, there are those who encourage that, who, of course, would do what is required in order for them to stay here, whether their papers are fixed or not. The fact of the matter is that if you employ them, and the argument, one of the arguments is that they are prepared to do work that Trinbagonians are not prepared to do, then of course they were given, of course, an unfair advantage by the government in that they are not have to commit to paying NIS. And therefore, they can afford to work for a little less than the average Trinbagonians in normal circumstance. And of course, they will have to pay the average Trinbagonian. They have to pay NIS, which of course is the duty of every worker to make certain that the employer does his legal responsibility. So it puts the visitor or the migrant at a distinct advantage, and therefore gives credence to what Ms. Arima has been saying, that will have them feel comforted to take the risk of coming to Trinidad, because of course the conditionalities are so salubrious, are so right, are so fertile for them to survive in Trinidad in more ways than one. So therefore the argument is that including in Kamla Prasad Bissesa's argument, I would expect that consideration will be given for leveling the playing field. So apart from, of course, extracting those that are illegal, and apart from, of course, addressing the question of those who may have acquired legal status or residential status or attached their wagons to families in Trinidad in more ways than one, whether it's marriage, etc., that of course the book is thrown at them in terms of meeting NIS and other requirements that the average Trinbagonian will have to meet when they would have been employed. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Hello, Lennox.
Yes, good night.
Should I explain something a little bit more?
Yes.
Should I be real explicit with it?
Yeah, but the last call I think did a good job.
When I say like, is in the sense that they wouldn't be comfortable now. They wouldn't like what she say. They ain't comfortable. They will be scared.
All right.
You know?
Yeah.
As I say, they will get vicious.
Yeah.
In many ways. Like they would pay human rights lawyers to fight certain matters, as you see that us be doing bold-facedly.
Yeah.
So when they get catch, you will have to put them before the court, some of them on certain ground. So they would fight to stay in the country. And as we all know, it have them human rights lawyers will like them too. Yeah. And fighting the government and winning case, and we the citizens of this country, right, the taxpayers, is we had to pay these people, is our money, had to get them millions of dollars. Look, just the other day, some child get millions of dollars for being in custody. You remember that matter?
In adult circumstance, and that is where the infringement
look
came.
At how much money.
And then, of
these
course,
people, these people bold-faced, and they want to stay here, and more getting to learn about the life in Trinidad and Tobago. Look, hear this part. I heard one saying, right? A YouTuber came and he was, asking them some questions, Venezuelan. And they said, the best place to come in the region here is Trinidad. You could make quick money. And they come in here to make quick money just to get out and go other countries.
Yeah.
Some of them dream was the United States, but some of them want to go to other countries like Peru and Chile and try,
Yeah,
And
I saw
sometimes
something
when they leave here,
with Chile. There's a corridor there that and the Chileans are now closing that gateway coming out from I think Peru or somewhere there. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, right? So they want to go these countries so they will make their money here because our currency have value for them to travel
Yeah.
from country to country, eat well, sleep well.
Yes.
Right? Some of them really and want to stay here. They find here small.
Right.
But sometimes when they go out and they realize, they're coming back.
Yes. Yeah.
So as all of that will happen, they will fight, they will use the law and see how they could get to stay here. So all of that is going to happen when they get paranoid.
Yes. I hear
But
you.
as
I hear you. The
we're not
intensification of
going
it.
to give up. We're not standing down.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yes, indeed. But of course, all of that could be drastically minimized. They come in here if the Rowley administration had from the beginning adopt a policy, but because they were trying to appease the United States after they sent back, of course, 80-something persons on a military plane, after they did not vote at the OAS or voted against, of course, sanctions and or probably deeper intervention, after he came from Chile and criticized the Secretary General of the OAS, saying that he loved to use that term. He's just a government official or some kind of less than high functionary, and in spite of going to the United Nations and speak in a way to accept for the world to accept Maduro, and without, of course, castigating Maduro for his human rights violations. Here it is, we have a situation where Rowley opened up the country to these people, again, not well thought out, not considering all of the repercussions as we are having it now: crime, criminality, abuse, a use of our resources and our magnanimity or generosity. After all of that, that is what he did. He could have, from the beginning, identify a parcel of land from the abandoned Caroni real estate, and just like, of course, in Syria or north of Syria, have a refugee camp scenario there and make some makeshift buildings and have the people not too comfortable so that at the first opportunity they get back home. But I think what is most devastating, in spite of all of the above, is that Rowley's deliberate non-use of the 12 Damian vessels that was deployed and acquired for the guarding of our borders. People, don't forget that. The guarding of our borders was the crucial thing, and because there's a limited area for them to cross easily into Trinidad water and into Trinidad, those 12 Damian vessels, if they were deployed even in that side of Trinidad, the eastern side, the Gulf side, the part that, of course, would be our northern peninsula, and in other words, the Dragon Mouth and the Serpent Mouth, and all in between there, rather than 360 degrees around Tobago and Trinidad. It would have had an impact of less of them coming into the country. Now they are like sandflies. Every corner you see them. Every 3 persons you meet, one is a Spanish and speaking and looking the part. So Rowley and his government has a major role to play in terms of the decadence and the destruction and the availability and the loose policies and programs that has created this devastating situation for Trinidad and Tobago today. Are you telling me that he still looking to stay in government? Because any incoming government has to clean up all of that. And of course, it means that Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and the UNC has to have a foreign policy that, of course, encompasses all of that. The naval assets, guarding of our borders, and then, of course, having a campaign within Trinidad and Tobago, within the confines, within our geographic space, across Trinidad and Tobago to root out these elements that may be here illegally or otherwise have gained some kind of legal status, whether it's quasi or otherwise, but at least you know and you have a good monitoring system, simply because they are now too regularly involved in crime and criminality. I'm talking about blue-collar crime in particular. Blue-collar crime, robberies, home invasions, larceny, etc. So we should be clear in our minds as to what has to be done as far as a policy is concerned relating to these migrants. It was good of us as a people to, of course, accommodate, but the purpose for accommodating them by the Rowley administration is always something sinister. It was never a genuine one. It was one to try to appease the Americans, and so they went overboard so to do. Because remember, we also had the Delcy Rodriguez fiasco. We had, of course, that shipment of gasoline that ended up in Venezuela, saying that it was for what? For Aruba. All of those cumulatively caused Rowley, in an attempt to appease, in an attempt to whitewash, in an attempt to gaslight and deceive the Americans. He then engaged in an activity that has jeopardized Trinidad and Tobago, and he continues so to do, knowing full well that Trump is the man in the next 2 months or so, but he continues, of course, to jeopardize Trinidad and Tobago. This man wants to destroy Trinidad and Tobago. It's clear. That is his intention before he leaves office. But we will have none of it. We must stridently defend our democracy, our country, our borders against all threats, all threats. I thought it was important, but I wanted to make the point. I have not been able to get, of course, where I want to go in terms of solutions that has been homegrown. And when I say homegrown, I mean community-wise. Because it's community by community, we have to generate the fixes that are necessary. It's village by village, we have to find the resources, human and material, to, of course, resurrect, I should say resurrect, but at least to ameliorate and to, of course, improve. Resurrect here is important from the point of view that we have to have a resurrection of a citizen that says, not only must they be literate, not only must they be, of course, computer savvy, not only must they have a conscience that Trinidad and Tobago belongs to them and us, not only, of course, they must go to school and learn well, not only must they, of course, on the job do a fair day's work for a fair day's pay, and not only must we insist on a fair day's pay and not exploitative pay, but we must have a citizen that says that we are so conscious that the quality of life and standard of living which we all aspire is achievable once all of us do the right thing and, of course, in unison, get on with the job of developing Trinidad and Tobago as a Republican democracy. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Hey, Lennox, you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, my friend.
All right. You were talking about Robinson when he had to go to the IMF, right?
Yes, yes.
Right. Oh, we know he had to go. But when he went, he took away 10% COLA.
Yes.
10% of the people's salary. And
Yes.
take away the quota.
Yes.
And all of these things, right?
Yes.
People have to leave the country in droves because they can't live on them salaries.
Right.
But you see, civil servants in this country, PNM people, them is real ungrateful people. When Pandey come into power in 1995, you know, and then he come back and even in 2000, he get them back everything what they lose, you know. He
Yes.
get them back,
Except the cola, like still a issue even to today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get back pay and everything with the salary what they lose.
Yes.
And they went back and vote for PNM.
Yes.
Yeah, people
But I want you, before you go there, I want you to recall that it's the PNM that was a critical part of the anti-Robinson, anti-NAR agenda.
Yeah, you're
right. That caused them to lose the election in 91. It must be said. Because you see, I want people to make that connection with Tobago today. Same playbook. Same travesty. Go ahead.
Yeah. But only 33 and I get.
Yes. A pleasant good night. Hold on, we have another call on the next line.
Yeah, them get real votes in the election, you know.
Yes.
I can't remember the exact amount, but they get plenty.
Yeah. But they lost, first past the post.
Right, but they lose. But what I'm saying, when Pandey get them people back pay and everything, the civil servants.
Yeah.
Them still went back and vote for PNM, boy, you know.
Yes, still went back and vote for PNM. They should not have had any 1818 scenario in 2000.
No.
And he should have won when they went back to the poll in 2001.
These are stubborn people, boy, you know.
Yeah, but I think I always take the view that when your back is against the wall, no human being, not even an animal nor a plant, takes these things in perpetuity. You abuse me, not even a battered woman, even though of course some may say you're taking it too long. So I have full confidence in the people that they have seen enough, they have gotten enough, and they know that what they have to do in order to get rid of this albatross. Otherwise, they will continue, of course, to face the reality of suicide.
Well, one thing people don't tell you what they have to tell you already.
Yes.
They're glad to get rid of Hines, but they're accepting the new fella.
Well, yeah, but I am very optimistic myself in spite of the new fella, because the new fella, in my view, attached his wagon maybe to improve his resume, but clearly in the wrong party. Is a fella that I know. I observe him from a very young age, engaged, of course, in community work in the Beatham in particular and so on. So I know of him, but I think we have a duty to still tell the people that because he has attached his future to the PNM, that of course we have a duty to still relegate the PNM to the dustbin of history.
But the way they talk,
there must be no sympathy for persons who would have made the wrong choice. That was his choice, so he has to lie on that bed.
Yeah, but the way the people, indeed, they're accepting him.
Yeah.
But they remain in the PNM, you know. They ain't talking like they're moving from PNM, you know.
Well, let me tell you something. Whether it's he or Hines, they would have stayed there as well. So I'm saying, so I'm saying to them that they must, of course, reject. They should have no sympathy for anybody, because if Hines was there, they would have. So therefore, there is something about the PNM, and nothing to do with them, and nothing to do with Hines, and nothing to do with he. It's the PNM, and the people must now, of course, reject the PNM. Yeah. I hear you. I know that I am talking for some pie in the sky. I am overly optimistic, but you must dream. That's the only how plane would have been invented, and motor cars, and you could go on and on. Yeah, that's how Eric Williams became the Prime Minister and formed the PNM. That was a dream at one time.
Without dreams, it make no sense.
Make no sense, that's right. You had to think, man.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, sir.
Go ahead.
Remember, say, they reach the amount for the property tax, right?
Yeah.
But we know he's a damn liar.
Yes.
Brian Manning said they didn't reach that as yet.
Yeah.
So what already going on there? How you figure that's what going on there?
It's semantics. You have to be careful when you're talking to these fellas. No, they will tell you. I could see it. They will tell you they reach the threshold for the amount of
property tax
persons
yeah.
who the role must engage. So 200,000
right.
in order to implement property tax.
Right.
And Brian Manning will tell you that all of the 200,000 have not yet paid their property tax. I bet you that will come in and say. You understand?
We are reaching that yet.
Of course they reaching that. Of course they reaching that. And I don't believe they reach the 200,000 either to qualify them to implement it.
We are reaching that.
Yes, yes. On both counts. But that's the kind of semantics they will engage in. That is a typical Rowley obfuscation and insulting people's intelligence.
You have no problem.
Yeah.
You know people ain't get no problem, huh?
Yeah. I know of several of them who won't get formed. I tell them we're going to pay, and the government has recognized that and they said that if you don't have a form, if you didn't get assessed, you can't pay. They have to accept that because it will be an extreme anomaly, and we're going to pay in a vacuum.
Well, and the man didn't say that.
Yeah.
You have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But you ain't get no form.
All right. I have another caller there waiting, so we have to go.
All right.
Yeah, okay then. Yeah, bye-bye.
What any movie you going to call me after?
Yes, I will. All right, my friend. Yes, man. That's my movie recommender or movie recommendation officer for the corridor transformation. Let me put it that way. All right, or caller. Yes, indeed. Yes, I will, my friend. Yes, indeed. Let me just. Wow, boy, we going fast and furious. Wow, it's already 3 minutes past 10, people. Don't forget, of course, we have our Shouter Baptist Learning Institute hamper and the toy drive. I want to thank those who have already made contribution. I was a bit surprised when I was advised not to ask because people are not going to subscribe to that. Well, I want to thank those who have. Up till yesterday, a young man called me. Incidentally, let me just say and I'll be calling upon you who essentially would have been living or have your navel string buried in Laventille. Those graduates of the MLIO, the Mobile Laventille Improvement Organization. Yes, because yesterday a young man called us, and of course my assistant, and when I looked, he reminded me, of course, of the MLIO program, and he said that, oh gosh, he wishing that it is still there because he used to play music, and there are other persons that would have graduated. I have to boast and say one of them ended up, of course, in the Air Force of the United Kingdom. So many of them, of course, in the police service, the army, in the bus service on the port, etc. Apart from, of course, setting up their own businesses and so on. Over 6,000 of them between 1984 thereabout and about 2000 in earnest, until, of course, the PNM came into office, and then we had to, of course, I would say, abandon the momentum. And if that was not done, if the PNM did what they were supposed to do, because many of the graduates and the students came from Laventille and environs, because as you know, tonight I was going to tell you about, of course, the political foray of the community of Laventille. So apart from, of course, training and showing them that there are alternatives to gun and bombs and violence and all of the bullying that takes place in the various schools in and around Port of Spain and Laventille, etc. Apart from that, if you would focus, there are good people who would have put a program like that together, and over 11 different skills they would have been subjected to, many of which would have been, of course, a double whammy in the sense that if you're learning, of course, auto mechanic, for example, you'll also have to learn, and if you're there because that is your preference, you'll also have to learn a little welding, auto welding. So we blend them together and give them 2 for the price of 1, so to speak. And that worked well. If you're doing, of course, house wiring or electrical, you have to do, of course, auto electrical as well. And depending on your major, then the other one will become your minor. But you mustn't suffer for work, in other words, because you have more than one skill in one program that lasts about a year or so, and in some instances more. That is what we did. That is the vision. But we knew it was not sufficient. So tomorrow I'll focus on that. But I'm just giving you some of the things that I want to share with you. And you're going to see all the pictures for instant proof, etc. But I want to leave Rowley's face up there because, of course, he has proven to be a disaster. And, of course, I want you to read what he has been saying, that if it is a government cannot, of course, address the problem of a country, and in particular in this case, of course, crime and criminality, then they must make their sudden and purposeful departure. But Rowley is no human being to be trusted. He lies on himself, and he lies upon the lies that he speaks. And we know that he is immoral, unethical, and he has no moral authority, of course, to be where he is today. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night to you, Mr. Lennox, and all your listeners again.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. Lennox, sorry to rewind your program.
No problem.
But you say that the government could have a piece of Caroni land and build a center for them. So I just want to remind the listeners, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, because if I remember some time ago, under the same PNM government, it had some Nigerians and some Haitians, and they came, and then it had a disaster. They bred a property by a well-known car manufacturing company who assemble vehicles right up in Arima, up on the heights up there, for the tune of $11 million. And they fixed the whole property. They call it a detention center, a holding center, and a center for migrants. You remember anything about that? In Omira?
Omira?
By the pillars?
Yeah. In fact, they turned it into a prison eventually.
Right, for
the property,
prison for non-immigrants, immigration prison, right? Yeah, so that's what I want to get at. Sorry to rewind your program on the achievement of the youths and the programs. But on the topic about a detention center, we have one. Made of is rented or it purchased?
No. What I was speaking about here is something like what they did to be more specific. I remember we have a situation in Syria where, of course, Trinidadians who went there to fight with ISIS, they are now detained. It's something like that I was talking about.
Right. Accommodation.
So you put They are still free. They could roam the city and so on, but that is essentially where they are.
They had to check in and be. They had to be at all time the housing.
Yes, you put tents, so they know that this is a temporary thing and it's not something that is as hospitable as as a hospice.
Apartment building. Yeah. So that was just telling you, so that's why showing you that they have facilities up there.
Oh.
And they have beds, right?
Yeah.
So they could have used some of that, just like how that is Shagrama's detention center.
Yeah, but you want it to look like a prison as such, but of course it has to be fenced, I suppose. Yeah, so it's damn if you do or not damn if you do. Yeah. All right.
So, but when you have to get a negotiation going and you want to make it look good, that you could keep my people and welcome them, hospitality extended. Is that not a drain? That is why people who reach 60, the working class, who contribute to NIS, we will do our program on how long you have to wait and how long you have to take to apply and to get the NIS and what is the shortfall. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, my friend. Of course, on the screen, I just thought in the meantime to show the what you will be, of course, subjected to tomorrow night. You would see, of course, yes, there are documentation, over 1,000 pages of information relating, of course, to the transformation of Laventille as a microcosm, as a test piece, as a should I say, an experiment. Yeah, an experiment as to social re-engineering. And of course, while of course that may be a big term, it simply means that the transformation process requires, of course, an attitudinal change. And the attitudinal change must come with certain fundamental elements. Recognizing where people are and as human beings what the potential is, and therefore facilitating in such a way so as to generate the necessary motivation for them to become, of course, decent, right-thinking citizens. After all, you want a citizen, as I was saying, that is literate and numerate, that, of course, is computer savvy, that is conscious of their environment and their community, that they have a duty and responsibility to their village, their neighborhood, and by extension, of course, their country, as we move inexorably to build this beautiful Republican country called Trinidad and Tobago. That is that's the vision that we had. And this was since 1984, people. So we did that. And of course, we came up with three things. Apart from MLIO, we had, of course, Laventille for Laventillians. And we also had, of course, Laventille Outreach for Vertical Enrichment. Let me just give you a sneak preview as to some of the documentation that was as a consequence of that initiative. Laventille Outreach for Vertical Enrichment. Yes, indeed. So it's not about joke here, it's about serious business. And of course, this is what we came up with. It's on your screen now. Yeah, Laventille Outreach for Vertical Enrichment, the political arm of the effort, because we recognize that the PNM was not only destructive, not only exploitative, but clearly does not have the wherewithal for the transformationary processes that are required for such a community. And therefore, if it is political office, will give you the edge, will give the requirement, the ultimate, to of course be part and parcel of the ultimate decision making, so that focus can be placed on the Laventille community. That is what this was all about. And we were able, of course, to achieve it. And you will hear and you will observe and you will read some of the ideals and the ideas and the objectives for, of course, a transformation to bring Trinidad and Tobago to recognize that within a community like Laventille and environs, we have the people who can make the grade, or who can, of course, excel to first-class citizens. It is just a matter of facilitation, and the PNM has been the greatest pain, ache, agony, and bane to, of course, that development and transformation. Lennox Smith is still around. I have been, yes, at the forefront of such developments, but many don't know. Many don't know. God knows that we have tried, and the PNM in office have generated, of course, the ideological and the philosophical and the practical exploitative ideology to keep us as a voter bank. And we must now emerge out of that because we have the technology. And every night, and if I have to, of course, to create a program during the day for the whole day, so as to direct our focus and attention on Laventille, so that they understand that what is possible, and the only people that would see it impossible is the PNM, because they want to dominate and, of course, have you remain as a tool, as slaves, for them to maintain that small group of persons that occupy Balize House, and they eat ham, lamb, and jam, and go away with the dish, the spoon, the plate, and the meal, and leave you, of course, in abject want and decadence. That is what we are talking about. Yes, we have developed a political vehicle as well, dedicated to Laventille East, Laventille West, and Port of Spain South. So with no threat to the UNC, no threat to any other party. But we recognize that the people, as Robinson told me, when, of course, we started MLIO, self-determination, self-initiative, and self-aggrandizement, because we have a duty and responsibility to develop ourselves as a people, just as how on a national scale, Trinidad and Tobago has no choice but to develop itself. It's the same way the Laventille and environs community have a responsibility to itself. And that once there are people who are that committed and have that vision and have that commitment and have that optimism, then I say to all, including, of course, when I am on the ground report, and we hear, of course, my colleagues are talking in the way that they do, very pessimistic. I have always been optimistic. And on the corridor transformation, you will get an opportunity to share and to participate in that which is possible. Don't forget, people, of course, once again, the Shouter Baptist Learning Institute Christmas, that is all part of it. You will see how we have incorporated all these elements to come into one. And right here on George Street, we will begin the process of generating history. And to, of course, relieve many of you, if you believe that you are far away, I want you to remember, of course, the home invasions. And when you look at it, as I've said, when the car that they use park up somewhere in Laventille, you must know what has happened there. When Rowley and them displaced the people from Laventille, what they did recently with those residents of Duncan Street, you know that some community will be suffering from, of course, crime and criminality, because the Rowley administration, they are so myopic that they don't know that the issue is containment as opposed to migrating or the dissemination or the spreading or the mushrooming of that kind of social and educational and economic individuals to spread them across Trinidad and Tobago is inviting crime, the proliferation thereof, and more heinous as they become more desperate and desperate. Because a government who ought to know better have unleashed that devilish conduct on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Whether advertently or inadvertently, I say to them, they ought to have known. They ought to have known. And that is, of course, cacodemonic. Cacodemonic. Evil-spirited. Cacodemonic. Evil-spirited. People have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. See you tomorrow as we continue, of course, with these and other issues that are plaguing, yes, I'm using the term plaguing, Trinidad and Tobago. And we must, of course, as good people, knowing full well that evil cannot prevail over good, that we must get rid of the albatross and the evil that is the Rowley PNM administration. Yes, indeed. Because a government, according to Rowley, that does not do what is required in order to arrest the scourge, the evil, the retrogression, the larceny, the corruption, the nepotism, the cronyism, must jettison itself. And if not, the people must do the honors. And to do it, we must and will. In the fullness of time, he only has to call the elections. Once again, people, have a wonderful rest of the night. I trusted that you would have been inspired to, and two, you would have been further edified as to what is possible, having regard to all of the issues that would have been raised. Thank you very much, of course, for those who participated. And I want to tell you that the journey has now started. As the Chinese philosopher Confucius has said, the longest journey begins with a single step, and we have made more than one step. And therefore, if you believe that Laventille cannot transform, well, just remember, it was that place that gave the country its national culture, steel band and calypso. And there is more. Much, much, much more. As somebody reminded me when I was talking about heroes, about Dennis Lawrence, who attended, of course, MLIU as well, yes, who made, of course, that very historic football team with Latapi, etc., that went to England and did such marvelous job in that World Cup. So let me make my departure by, of course, I don't want us to end as I started, but I think the music is so scintillating and so catching that I think I should start there, because, of course, they are joyous times. They are wonderful times. We can do better. We must do better. Have a wonderful rest of the night, and God bless once again.
A child was born to us. Born to us, a child was born to us. An ever-loving son, like a thief in the night, he shone his light. All he meant no harm, came to save us from damnation. Our Savior is born today. He's running close to life while the shepherds cry. For they just couldn't believe their eyes. And when he come around, you know they're not Christians. Get together and from nails in the hands. But on the third day, shed his blood for we.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
A child of joy, a man who toils, and for all sins the Savior fought and win. See him healing the sick, helping the poor, and things like leprosy, you know our Savior cure. Ring, ring, hurrah, 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 they say, our Savior is born today. In swaddling clothes he lies, while the shepherds cry, for they just couldn't believe their eyes. And when he come on, man, you know them non-Christians get together and pound the hands in their hands. But on the third day, he rose again. So you see, he shed his blood for we. He was conceived, so said and done, all three in one, a truly blessed son. He displayed his own skill and Father's will. So when we are at fault, we know that he loves us still. Ring, ring, hurrah, 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 they say, our Savior is born today. His swaddling clothes he lies, while the shepherds cry, for they just couldn't believe their eyes. And when he come on, man, you know them non-Christians get together and pound nails in their hands. But on the third day, he rose again. So you see, he shed his blood for we.
This is Caribbean